Right, there we go. So this year's head coach of the EABL, Barking Abbey, taking over from James Veer, and before that, Lloyd Gardner. Pretty tough act to follow, but you didn't do too badly from
Didn't do too badly.
from what it looked like from the outside. So EABL champions, EABL Coach of the Year, Division Two Coach of the Year, and Luis Obiara is now going to
OBR.
Texas, Division One. So from as far as I can see, in terms of like what an 18 and 19-year-old basketball players in the UK want to be achieving and then looking forward to. You've been around that this year. You've led a team that has done what all the academy kids in the UK are trying to do. And then, Lewis is obviously about to start a journey that, I remember seeing him, I think it was 2 years ago when I came into the school, and he was doing an individual with you, and he looked a little bit clunky. He
Yeah,
was obviously
Bambi.
big, but yeah, Bambi, exactly. He didn't
Bambi.
move very well. So that's been amazing to see
Yeah.
the progression there. And I suppose you've been along with him every step of the way. So before I ask you a question, I just want to tell these guys, if you don't know, so I think Rikki sort of carries the energy of like a new wave of basketball in the UK, like very passionate, very excited about the skill development, but as also the head coach of an EABL program and a men's program. And he does all of that by working very, very hard, but always with a smile on his face. So I think for me, like that's like sort of the new energy of basketball in the UK. The old energy is a bit, this is my program, stay away from me, and let me get on with it, and we're just trying to try to beat you.
Hmm.
Whereas I can share with you guys earlier today when me and Rikki were just going back and forth about what we're going to talk about. Rikki just said, "Look, mate, just there's this one thing I can't talk about. Apart from that, just ask anything you want. I'm an open book," and that I think that speaks about who you are and how you do things. So yeah, thanks for coming on
No,
here, mate. I'm
no issues
looking
at all.
forward to it. Cool, man. First question then. Almost every young player, I'm talking about guys that coming into academies across the country, they basically say, I want to study in the States, I want to play in a Division One program, and ultimately be a professional basketball player, play at the highest level possible. Like, what do you say to kids when they say that?
Uh, I'm very realistic, so my honesty sometimes can get me into trouble. Um, and going the first thing that I kind of encounter when we have a new intake of players, even someone like a Lewis and Obi, is that all the players that I potentially get are they're some of the best players in the country, that the clubs that they're coming from, and then all of a sudden they get hit with, look, if you think you're actually good, you might not be as good as you think you are, but you know there is a chance that you could potentially get a Division One scholarship. But we don't say that to many players often. So even when we looked at Obi, and it's like, yeah, you could play Division One for sure because you're big, but if you want to go to a good Division One school and play, then we need to do X, Y, Z. So everybody has this dream and this goal, and yeah, we don't shoot it down. There's always a chance, but some people have a greater chance than others. So we are very realistic in terms of what they need to be able to compete at that level. So, for instance, Ethan, I won a Division One scholarship. Ethan Conway was our leading scorer in Division Two. He was MVP of the EABL South. There was games where he was having 39 points in 39 minutes. Like, he had big games this year. We went to Florida in the States, and he got hit pretty hard. Not with his skill level, but just more so the athleticism. To be able to play Division One basketball in America, you have to be athletic. You can be big, but you have to be athletic. That's the biggest thing. So when we're looking at it, like for instance with Lewis, he's big, but he wasn't athletic at all. So we sit down and look at development plans to be able to move them forward to be able to achieve their goal. So obviously Ethan now is going to Canada on a full ride scholarship, same school as Flynn, Broadman, Raffet. So his journey is just taking its different case. Then the other thing that we have to sit and be realistic about is that the NCAA has changed. It is now not an amateur league, it is a professional league.
Mm.
And we have to be realistic with that. So if you looked at high schoolers coming out of high school and go straight to these big programs or Division 1 schools, it's very hard to do so because everyone's in that transfer portal and everyone is asking for big amount of money. So colleges now are waiting for people in that transfer portal. So like, for instance, Amali Wilkinson is probably the first player coming straight out of the UK to get a Division 2 scholarship. He's the first player in about 4 to 5 years to do that. Normally you go to JUCO or you go to another program, you go to a prep, and then that's their journey, where Amali's actually gone from, you know, probably never thinking that he was going to get a scholarship to getting a full ride scholarship and being one of the first players. So again, when we're looking at when first players come in, you know, people get hit with a shock and a reality of this is the level, this is kind of what you need. We can work towards that, but there is a real big chance that you might not fulfill the goals that you want. So that's when the goal settings meetings comes in. We have individual meetings, and then we sit down and have brutal, honest conversations about where we think that you could potentially play in the future. If that's
yeah, absolutely, that's great, man. And so, okay, we're talking about at Barking Abbey, who are the EABL champions this year. That how many of those guys, you don't have to name names, just how many of those guys this year or maybe over the last couple of years are you sitting down with them and saying, okay, you're not really there right now, but there's a chance, versus how many of those guys are you saying, listen, mate, probably Division 1, Division 2 basketball in the States is, you're just probably not going to make that?
Yeah, so obviously we got 5 graduating, all 5 are going off to America. You've got obviously Lewis is the big one going to Texas. Longhorns probably going to redshirt, but obviously NIL deals that he's getting, and there's a chance that he's going to play. Obi's going to high school in America, either Lehigh, Montverde, or IMG. Most likely it's going to be Montverde at this moment in time. So he's actually going a year early just because it's the right move for him, because he's just so athletic that he can get away with certain things. You've also got Ethan going to America, to college in Canada. Amali's going to a Division 2 school in Sacramento, and Adam's been offered a scholarship to IMG. Now, if you would have sat there and told me that Adam, Ethan, and Amali were going to get those looks, I would have laughed in your face. I would have laughed.
Talking about a year ago.
2 years ago for Amali and Ethan. Yeah. Right. Adam last year, yeah, 100%. But again, like, we sit down and go, right, well, what's it going to take that's going to separate you guys to the rest of the players that are trying to fight for these same positions in these scholarships? So Adam is the best example. Adam came in, he played for me Division 4, played 30 minutes a game in Division 4. That was the allocation minutes that I gave him. EABL, we played about 2 minutes a game. So he sat down with his development plan. It was like, well, what are you actually really good at? Oh, you can shoot the ball. Okay, so that's what we need to separate ourselves with you, is the ability to shoot the ball, because every single team will need a shooter. It is the most important position for me, that and a big point guard I can live with because I can teach that, but to have that knack of just being able to shoot the ball, you know. And Adam had a really tough journey, and I know he won't mind me saying this. He had a really tough journey because guess what he wanted to do? I want to do other things. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to do these types of things like Amali and Ethan. You're sitting there like, you're not going to get the scholarship that you want.
You're talking about as a player.
As a player.
Right.
So Adam is probably the hardest working player. Well, they're all very hard working because the culture, but Adam is the borderline where, like, for instance, we're begging him to have a couple more weeks off because he's got a tennis elbow, but he's just refusing. Like, he just wants to work out all the time. But when we sat and done his development plan, it's like, if you want to do this, this is what you're going to have to do. And obviously he had a great Division 4 year, but didn't really play Division 2 or EABL. But this year we sat down and gave him 15 minutes allocated time. If you make shots, you play more. If you make shots, you play more. If you don't make shots, you'll play those allocated minutes, which is 15. He averaged 25 a game minutes. EABL final, he played 40 minutes straight because part of his development was to be able to shoot the ball and play defense. Couldn't play defense, but now he was the best player on the floor in EABL. But he has this knack of just making shots when we need to make shots. So people think it's shooting high percentages. Yes, shooting high percentages is what's going to kind of get you to a point, but it's making shots at the right moments. And Adam's now, you know, it's Adam's got to that point where I believe, is the best shooter in the country by a mile. One of the top 5 shooters to ever come through the academy. And it's interesting because when we got about 3 to 4 weeks before we went to America, he had the conversation, Coach, I think I'm ready to do a little bit more. I'm like, nope, not yet. Just wait for me. Just wait for it. Like, just a little bit more of just doing what we're doing. And he went to IMG and he lit them up. What reset dribbles, catch and shoots, contested, fadeaways, all off the catch. He was incredible and got an offer straight away. They offered him there and then. And boys, where are we going? Yeah. And obviously he got offered, and me and Adam very much like father and son. In terms of our relationship, we're super close. Just the amount of times we spent, and we sat in the bus, and I looked at him with a tear in my eye because of how proud I am. And I went, "Do you want to do more now?" He went, "Nope, just want to shoot the ball and play defense." And that was his journey on the fact that he's executed his game plan and his development plan to be this elite level shooter and 3-and-D guy, and now he's guaranteed if he goes to IMG, he's guaranteed a Division 1 scholarship. That's what IMG is, your division. And if you would have told me Adam was going to be guaranteed a Division 1 scholarship going to IMG, again, would have laughed in your face. So again, like, we sat down with Adam and went, right, you want to play Division 1? Not too sure. Don't think athletically you're going to be good enough. And he's just worked his ass off to be able to be in the position that he's in, and he's had this offer, and yeah, the world is his oyster now just because of the work that we've all put in together on his journey. So there's an example.
Nice, man. So I mean, I think we should talk a little bit about this development plan as much as you're willing to share. But before we talk about it, like in a broad space, like, it sounds like when you talk to your players about this, the journey that they're about to go on through the 2 years, that what do you look at their 1 or 2 strengths that they have and say, right, we're going to lean into this, and we're going to go away from some of the things that you might want to do, and we're just going to laser in on something that can separate you from everybody else?
Yeah, I mean, obviously when you're 16 years old coming into the academy, you're already pretty good at one thing or a number of different things. So when players come in at the first part of the year, we always look at their strengths and we always try and refine them. So during the season, it's quite an interesting one because during the season, we refine for what they're already good at. Or we make tweaks at the things that they might need improvements on, but we don't really spend a lot of time on it. We do a lot of decision making. Everything is decision making. We're trying to paint the picture, and then it's reverse engineering it. We're trying to look at what they can do, and then we try and pinpoint how we can make them work within the offense. And everything we do within the offense this year is statistically proven by my assistant. He's actually a data analysis. So everything that we've done is backed by science and data. And then during the off season, which we've got now, we can now refine and add stuff. So I don't know if I can share my screen or not.
Yeah, I can give you the. Another sec.
I don't know if I can do that. Can I do that?
Yeah, you got it. Yeah.
So if we looked at Adam's development plan in his first year, and I don't know if you can see that. So it's very simple development plan. I don't really make big plans for people because 1, they're forever changing. But 2, it's just more so this. So this was Adam's first ever development plan in 2023. So I don't know if you can see this. So 4 categories: technical, tactical, psychological, physical, allocation of minutes for the league, and then just extra notes. So in his first year, strengths were shooting, stopping, and starting. Areas of improvement was finishing one-on-one, handling ball pressure, and defense one-on-one. Strengths tactically, understanding team concepts. Awareness, area of his improvements, awareness of space to create shot and shot selection. Strengths very coachable for physical, concentration, dealing with mistakes, which was a big one. So from that, we heavily worked on his shooting. We worked on some finishing and handling pressure because at some points there was going to be moments during the season where he's going to have to handle a little bit of pressure because of the level of shooter he is. People are going to play super close. So his handling pressure was more so tight spaces when people are contesting him. One dribble, working on that one dribble, reset dribble pull-ups. But it was more so like we built on that more so in the summers between going from his first year to his second.
Mhm.
Now, if we looked at his second development plan, you know,
So
as you
this
can
is
see,
a year later?
this was a year later. This was no 2 years later, or a year and a half later. Did you finish the live stream, Marley? Thank you. Sorry. So Adam's strengths this year. So if you looked at how different they are, shooting, good on and off ball defender, and his dribble pull up game was very good.
Mm.
Areas of improvement was passing, post pass, extra pass. Sometimes he holds the ball for too long. Handling pressure still, and some form of finishing. Tactically making reads using off ball screens, good floor spacer when scouted, moments on when to shoot. He's very good at all that stuff now. And then the second part of it, he's got to be a better cutter off the ball, which then leads into the finishing, the use of on-ball triggers, handoffs gets, ball screens, and understanding scout consistently. Now, tactically, that's important for him because people guard him in such a tight vicinity that, and you can't go under on him on ball screens. We now have to implement stuff like that into him. He sees a sports psychologist. He sees my sports psychologist, matter of fact, and so does Ethan. So he doesn't let his misses affect him. He's not very emotional anymore, and he's always prepared for the game. He sometimes overthinks shots and passes them up, and finding confidence in his abilities outside of shooting. He's physical, he's strong, and then his area of improvement is a lot of like his knees, his athleticism, and a lot of momentum contact. And for me, that all links. So for him to be better in the off-ball screens and his off-ball triggers and the use of on-ball triggers, understanding scouts consistently, he needs to be able to finish and handle pressure more. And he needs to have the ability to pass when people run him off the lines. But then that also links into how he is psychologically. He can't pass up open shots, and his open shots are a little bit different. And then when he does end up taking people off the dribble, my idea for him is to look like JC Carroll, Real Madrid, best shooter in the history of EuroLeague. He averaged 50%, playing 15 minutes a game, and got paid $4 million a year. So that's the kind of look that I'm looking into that. And then that also links into the amount of time that he sees on the floor. And then the additional notes: enjoyed winning, Florida, brotherhood, which all of them said. And then obviously, excuse my French, seeing how fucking good he's become, because he's incredible. And then improvements, being more of a crate for others, especially in long closeout situations and playing with two dribbles, floaters, pull-ups, kickouts. So that's what Adam's development plan now looks like.
That's awesome, man.
So it's a journey. People think that the stuff that you saw in the EABL this year, it was by accident. Everything that you saw from every single one of our players and now the way our team played wasn't by accident. Individually, Amali and Ethan have done over 450 hours of skill development with me. Adam's done over 350. Lewis, 350. Obi's worked to about 200 now. Then that's just skill development. Their development plan within their individual stuff always links to how our team plays so that they can be successful. And it's being a role player. So Ethan's role player was to score for us this year. He was the only person on our team this year to score. Adam was to shoot the ball and space the floor. Amadi's was to score when he needed, get everyone involved, but score when he needed to. Kirby was to be a great slasher, open shots, one dribble, and be really good in transition. But then that was all backed by data analysis through my assistant. So like we worked out that Ethan would score 83% of the time if he took 0 dribbles or 1 dribble. As soon as he took two dribbles, he would shoot under 20%. So everything was backed by evidence. But if we looked at a development plan, that's forever ending. It's forever changing. I've recently done these development plans for the boys, and I've already changed about 5 or 6 within 2 weeks, just because they've developed. So again, like the whole process of being developed is understanding what your coach wants, trusting that the coach understands what it's going to take for you to eventually leave the program, and then going away and working on it. You can't just do it by doing it.
So the minutes that you have there at the bottom of the development plan, what is that conversation? Is that like this is a kind of minimum expectation for the player, and then if they do well, they could get more, or is this like this is what I'm thinking about as a coach? Like, how's that conversation go?
Well, I spoke to my sports psych about this, and he was like, "Do you allocate minutes?" I'm like, "No, I don't allocate minutes." He was like, "Why not?" I was like, "I don't know." I was like, "I don't really want to spread the time out and whatnot." He was like, "You got to understand how the brain works." So for me to work as a sports psychologist and for be able to provide help for my players, they need to prepare. So the allocations of minutes is to prepare players.
Right.
So like Kirby was case in point last year, Division 3. How many minutes do you think you allocated out, Kirby? Or 15, 20? Do you think that's why you play so quick and erratic? Because you feel like you need to get everything done in the 15, 20 minutes? He's like, yeah, I think so, coach. I was like, we've actually got 30, 35 minutes to play with. So you don't need to do everything as quick as you want to do it. So he then went away and prepared for those allocated minutes that, you know, those 30 minutes is, if you do your job, you play those 30 minutes. If you go and do the extra stuff that you might do on the off chance, you play more. But if you don't do those things, then you play less. But if you're making mistakes, you're always going to go back in. So if I pull you because you made a mistake on the floor, because in the sense of when they leave this place, people are going to take you off for kind of mistakes. I gave them a 3-strike rule. But understand that because I've allocated those minutes, you're going to go back in. So the allocations is
how do you manage that,
to prepare
like
players.
game to game? Like, let's say, I mean, it sounds like a lot of your coaching is very driven by statistics, and so what's happened before. So you're trying to
Data
inform
analysis, science.
So then, like game to game, let's say, you know, you've allocated 30 minutes, but they only played 20, and that was a coaching decision. And now you're coming towards the next game. Like, how do you manage the expectation going forwards? Is that something you just look at the data and you say, right, well, I was mistaken there as a coach, or this is why you didn't play those minutes? Like, how do you do that?
Well, we have the ability here to live stream everything. So we do a lot of video. So our data is not just based off like data, it's more so video, because it doesn't lie. Video doesn't lie. These guys study everything. So we live stream every workout. We live stream every team practice. I have a projector in the weight room. So, because everyone learns different, we do live video feedback all the time. During games, we live stream all the games, and we do video feedback with my assistants on their phones, and then obviously at halftime with the teams. So we will always sit down and look at the day after or 2 days after, once they've processed what's gone on, to manage those expectations. Well, why didn't you play? Well, I've got all these video evidence to say you didn't do the job. You forced it here. So when you came out and went back in again, you done it again. So I had to pull you out, and then you done it again. So now your minutes are, or what might happen is that they've got foul trouble. So then we look at their foul trouble and be like, well, this is a foul. Why? Like, look at your angles, look at this, look at that. Then it's about then going into the drawing board, which is our workouts, to then fix those things and refine those things so that they're now in a better position to be able to fulfill those allocation minutes. So it's forever ending. Those conversations are every single day. It's not like we've got those allocation minutes and, you know, the boys will, coach, why am I not playing as my allocate minutes? Well, this is why. This is the evidence that we've got through video, through this, through that, through this. Right, we need to go and work on it. You're right, you got better at it now. So now you're doing your job and you're providing that for you to be successful as well as the team. And they're the minutes that you get.
Do you have a period, like what's the period of review about, like, let's say a kid get allocated 10 minutes and he's pushing to get more and he's asking, why am I not getting more? I'm doing what you asked, rah, rah, rah. Like, is that completely fluid, or is it like, guys, you got to wait until Christmas and then we make a review?
No, it's completely fluid. So case in point, we had a kid called David. He didn't really play this year. He took more academics, a little bit more serious. But last year, when we sat down for his allocation minutes, it was 0. These are the things that you need to do to be able to chip in. There might be times in the game where I play you just randomly. And then within those minutes, you're then pushing to move them on and then move them on. But if I'm in a tight game in a little bit, then you'll probably still get 0. But if there's an opportunity, and he came into the first game, I was like, right, I'm just going to throw him in, see what happens. And he just absolutely smashed it defensively. It got to a point by the next game, it was like, right, David, like, you're going to get 5 minutes today. Guaranteed I'm going to play you 5 minutes regardless of the situation. Played those 5 minutes and I ended up playing 10. By the end of it, he was playing 25, 30 minutes a game just off his sole effort of defensive ability. He got the ball where it needed to get to. But again, it's forever changing. Always forever changing.
How are you managing that in game? How do you manage that in game?
I have this, I don't know how to explain it.
You just
But
got
I
some
just have
matrix
this.
stuff going on in your brain.
It's not. Yeah, like obviously I have ADHD and it's my superpower. So it's interesting because like when you look at management of the game of timeouts, I can't count quick. So my assistant is always telling me the score. What's the score? What's the score? How many we up? How many down? I can't figure it out. It's funny, but like I can't get that. But my feeling, I can't explain it, but my feeling of doing
Right.
things, I just do things and it's like, oh, well, that worked. Don't really know how that worked, but it worked. So again, like I manage it based off feeling. I manage it based off what the game is, the rhythm of the game. What's that looking like? I just have this real knack of putting players in positions to be successful. I
Cool. That's cool, man.
yeah, I can't sit there and
Okay.
tell you.
That's all right. Okay, we're conscious of time here, so I want to move
Yeah,
on
my
to something
fault.
that I
I'm a
plan
talker.
to.
My fault.
No, it's all right, man. It's all right. Now one thing I didn't mention, those guys may know or may not, but Rikki is, I think it's 7 of the group of
6 or 7.
6 or 7 of the GB men's team preparing for the summer. Will be working with Rikki in preparation for that with skill development. One of the things that Rikki and I have spoken about a little bit is shooting. So I want to talk to you a little bit about this. And I think you've said to me a couple of weeks ago that basically kids in the UK don't shoot enough. Can you talk about that a little bit, please?
Well, the biggest realization I had was when we went to America and we played 18 days of against American teams. Every single person can shoot. Everyone. We played the 8th high school team against our second team. They blew us out by 40. Everyone can shoot ball, but then they've got 12 shooting guns in their arena. And you're sitting there like, well, how many shots a day do they get? 500 to 1,000 a day. I'm like, what? That's absolutely incredible. And some of their techniques weren't great, but they just had this knack of just putting the ball and that's when I really fully understood that we do not shoot enough in this country. So if you looked at the statistics based on the last European Championships for GB teams at every level, 16s, 18s, 20s, maybe not 20s, but especially 16s, 18s, all the teams are shooting 30 or under percent from three. The only team that's succeeding and shooting about 38% as a team is the GB senior men's team. And I have 7 of those guys that work out with me. So the amount that we shoot during my workouts is incredible. The guys will work out for me 2 hours. We'll do a lot of evidence-based shooting, so differential learning, repetitions without repetitions. You know, we get about 200 shots of just live situations, every single player. But then once we've finished, they will then spend another hour by themselves repping the hell out the ball. And in the end, they'll get about 400 or 500 shots up a day. And it's the same with the academy boys now. Like we've opened the gym up in the mornings at 7 a.m. They all come in and shoot every morning. We've made it a competition. They all know how to work out by themselves based upon all the stuff that we've done. So my job as a coach is to put them in positions to work out by themselves. And we've explained without them even knowing what the evidence is. I haven't really told them what it is. It's just more so, this is how we should work out. And then they've seen results and then they go off and do it by themselves.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Like what is the kind of thing you're talking to them about?
So the first thing is it game like? So, and it's not so the amount of reps. Is every rep intentional? Is there real intent and purpose in what you're doing? You have to treat every single rep as important. The next thing part of it is if you're shooting reps, we have to do it something called repetitions without repetitions. So say I'm shooting 10 shots from the corner and it is just catch and shoot, catch and shoot, catch and shoot. It's just a slight different position within that spot or a different footwork that they shoot. They might shoot the same footwork twice within the reps, but it's never in a row. Then part of it is shooting perceptually is because all of a sudden the defender will stay around you and they're always in different positions and you might receive the ball in different ways. Can we make bad passes? Can we make different locations of where you catch the ball? Can you add the same shooting drill with a contester, but the contester is in a different rotation or a different position every single time? And it also gets to the point where we're doing stuff eyes closed, one eye closed, both eyes open, can't see the basket. like all these different positions, so that perceptually their body's just adjusting straight away, because the perception of how we shoot and the eyes on the rim quick as possible is like a big focus for us. So again, like I've given them routine work in terms of their skill development and their technical work for 10 minutes, which they practice every single day. But then they get into some form of scientific evidence-based kind of shooting. And they would shoot for an hour. They'll get about 300 shots up as a pair. And every single rep has just been completely different. So again, we've explained that within the drills that we've done and given them. The boys now have about 100 different shooting drills that they could do by themselves with a partner. They can refer to the library that we have. They can refer to my Instagram, and then they just go off and do it. This time of year, we're working on a lot of technical training. So I've changed Amali's hand position on the ball, made it a bit higher, and how it comes off, because it affected the ball too much. But that took 3 days just because he's got this imagery. If I would have done that with Amali in his first year, that would have taken a whole year. But it did. Load your wrist, Amali, load your wrist, Amali, load your wrist, Amali, load your wrist, Amali. He's shooting under 10% from three. He shot 42% this year. So his ability to just change on the fly now, he reminds me of a lot of professional basketball players. They're more like pros now rather than kids playing basketball, where you have to micro manipulate pretty much everything without them knowing. But it just takes time. Everything takes time with shoot. They say the golf swing is the hardest individual skill to master. And there's only one skill that's comparable, and that's the basketball jump shot. So if you don't take time shooting, you're never going to master it.
And when you say take time, like for the guys that are watching here, like how much time are we talking about as an individual outside of coach-led time?
It varies. Everyone learns differently. Everyone needs to be put in different situations. People do things that you're just like, oh, I never knew that you could do that. Sometimes if I'm breaking a mechanic of someone, it takes a lot longer. If I'm not breaking mechanics like an Adam or even an Obi, it takes a lot less time, because they're all about just situational repping and getting the things that they need to get done by themselves and whatnot. But if you're completely changing someone's shot, it takes time. Danny Evans is a pro of mine. He used to shoot like here with his hand bent like this. So he got injured. So he had 6 months to spare, and we changed his mechanics to this, and it took the whole 6 months for him to kind of master it back to that mechanics. So again, it just varies on what you're trying to work on and then how you're trying to work on. And I think what you'll probably agree with a lot of it is, because we're evidence-based coaches, the acceleration of that is tenfold. It happens a lot quicker than someone who just repping and trying to change their technique. It happens quicker.
And for a kid who, let's say, they don't feel like they need to change their technique, they feel like they're kind of happy with it, they just want to put in more work, and they're listening to you and they're going, right, I need to, if I'm going to shoot the ball better, I just got to be able to put more hours in. What goes into the hours? Do you suggest that players plan their workouts, whether they have 30 minutes or an hour or 45 minutes, whatever it is? Or is it the case like, find a shooting a spot or a volume of shots that you want to shoot, and then just experiment within that with the positions and the pressure and where the passes come from, things like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing is, every single player now, when they come into a workout and it's self-led, they've planned it. They know what reps they're going to get, what types of reps they're going to get, what's important to them, and so on and so on. So they have real intent, so that when they come into the workout, they know. So there's no time wasting. So what we want to do is be efficient with everything we do. My whole thing is efficiency. The way we work out, the way we move, the way we play, the way we do things. So everything is planned when it's player-led. But then the next part of it is, which I think you would also like, and because I know for a fact that you do visualization mindfulness with the boys. Yep. We have our own mindfulness coach, Richard. And then on top of that, 3 of the boys see the sports psychologist. So their visualization of things again, they're visualizing those things, walking around the house, or when they're doing a session, when they're seeing when they're doing the mindfulness stuff with Richard, is that it's just continuous all the time. Like, how many of you boys walk around the street and you're Euro stepping past people? Show of hands, quick. Or how many of you are just like repping? Like, my housemates couldn't get the gist of the fact that I'm sitting on the sofa and I'm doing this without a ball. Like, I don't practice, but I beat everyone in shooting competitions because my visualization and my picture in my mind is just so complete that I can translate it straight away. So the power of walking around the street, Euro stepping, is so powerful. And I wish you guys could continue to do it. You've got to love it. You've got to be thinking about it all the time, because people think it's just you coming into the gym and working out. It's not. It's everything. Because then it's also important that when you've done it in workouts and individual time, player-led, coaching-led, we then have to translate it onto the court. Because if you're not doing it on the court, I've failed you as a player. And that's where I believe, and the confidence in saying that I'm one of the best that does this, is because you can watch my teams, you can watch all the pros that work out of me, and then you'll see exactly what we've done in the games. You see it, and it's such a big dopamine for me. So, like, for me, I believe that I'm good at what I do is because you see everything that is image in my mind. Like, this year was so important of winning the EABL because it cemented that I can take players from one point to the next. And it's not because they've just got better, but it's the stuff that I'm envisioning in my head of what I think basketball and how it should be played, and they go off and do it. So, like, if I'm telling my players that to do this and they're not doing it, then that's my fault. That's no one else's. They're not doing what I'm asking. They're not doing it. They don't know that they're doing it or not doing it because I've manipulated the whole situation by them just doing it. But you can see everything that we work on in my mind for the 450 hours of Amali and Ethan. That's everything that we've done. They are skilled tacticianists. But the difference is that even though they're skilled tacticianists, there's still levels to it. Bigger bodies, more athleticism, longer arms, getting off the floor quick. So, like, we're having to counteract like, all these strengths are, so that when they do face these players, that they can then do it, and then they can. And that's all on me. That's not on them. It's on them if they don't get into the hours and do the hours that they do. But it's a whole picture. It's the holistic. Everything has to link. Then I've got my S&C. Right, he doesn't do this very well. Kirby plays quite upright, if you've noticed, but that's not an individual or a team. That's an S&C point of view. So I'm talking to my S&C coach. This is his development plan. Look at the physical side of things. He now needs to work on his mobility. He's strengthening his glutes. Ethan is more so angles and hitting on the body, so he's got to be strong on the core. There's so many different parts to just going into the skill development stuff. It's everything. Everything. Then Paul with our physio, rehab, prehab, injury prevention. All of these kids do it daily, 15 hours a day, 15 hours a week. They've got contact time with us. They do 3 or 4 individuals, 2 strength conditioning sessions, 3 to 14 practices, game Wednesday, men's basketball on the weekend, visualization, live stream of practice, video feedback, scouting, optional shooting in the morning. The list goes on. Full-time physio. We've got everything that you need to be able to do it, and all of them do it without asking.
Kieran, we got a few. I guess we got a few minutes left. So, are there questions from over on that side?
I'll check now. We don't worry about time, so we can keep going. We'll check questions out.
Gone.
There's no
workout
Let's
P5
check questions from you guys. Otherwise, I can
After
keep
school will
going, but I
cancel.
want to get it from the
Everyone's worked out
kids.
today.
There's a couple of questions in the XPS chat there for you.
Hold on.
One or two.
Let me just mute.
Okay, cool. All right, we got
Neil's got one there.
When did you start your coaching career?
Oh, you talk. Yeah. Okay. All right. Actually, yeah, Nee, can you send that in the XPS chat, because we got a few there. I'm going to go through them. Where's Rikki? Is he good? Rikki,
No, I'm
good?
good. Sorry, the boys'
All
culture is that they have to say goodbye to everyone, and they just all say goodbye to me. So
All right, we've got a few questions from the kids. All right, so
Go ahead.
first one is, what do you value the most in a player?
The person. I want good people. And if then, like, again, like it's not me not working with people that have got a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. We like people that have a bit of an attitude and so on, but it's the character that we're looking at. We want people with good character. So if you looked at my
And
pro,
yeah, go on.
so if you looked at my pro workouts, not everyone can join them. People ask me every time, "Oh, I'm coming to your workouts. I'm coming to your workouts." And well, no, you're not, because been told that you're a dickhead, so you're not coming to my workouts. Yeah. Oh yeah, but he plays in the NBA. Not my issue. So character is the biggest thing that we're looking for. Now, people might need to be molded within that character, but that's the environment that we're in that can change it. And if
Can
they don't
you,
change that, they sink or swim, basically.
yeah, so can you give me some examples there? Obviously, in the academy, you might get a kid in who doesn't really understand that.
Yeah.
How does your culture and what you do, what are some real examples of how you deal with that?
So first of all, I have a leadership group. So the way I look at it is that I'm the president, and Marley was my vice president this year. So it's a democracy. It's like defense for me is more of a dictatorship with intelligent people making decisions. Do exactly what I'm asking you to do in that moment, please. If you want to change it, we can have that discussion. But if you would have watched Amali's mic'd up, he's my vice president. So you'll see him all having conversations with him. He's mic'd up. I think we should run this. And Amali's like, no, we're going to run this. Well, what about this? Yeah, good idea. Let's run that. And I'm like, horns down. Oh, shit, you're not running horns down. He was like, don't worry, I've got this. So then off the floor, we have a number of different culturals to build character. And they're in charge of that character. So the way the boys do it, they actually have court cases. Ethan is the sheriff. Adam is the deputy. And then they have guardsmen. And and if someone does something stupid, or so for instance, Fo kissed his teeth at me in practice. Bit of a dickhead move, but okay, live with it. I'm working with him. He's a good person. His character's great, but he just has some tendencies that come across rude. Okay, sorted. So the boys then had a court case, had a hearing in front of the sheriff, which was Ethan. And then they discussed the punishment. Fun little punishments. Boys will be boys. I'm not going to tell you some of them. One of the boys got a punishment that he had to stand in the corner with his hands above his head for 20 minutes. But they all hold each other accountable, because I know what it's like for you, Rob. You don't surround people that don't make you better. All my friends, they all hold me accountable, and I hold them accountable if our behaviors are not good. So we've built this really safe environment to hold each other and ourselves to account of our behaviors. Because in the
That's
real
awesome.
world, it's about holding each other accountable, because I want to be a better person. Sometimes I don't know, or sometimes I make those mistakes that shows that I'm not a good person sometimes. So I expect you to tell me. So that's the environment that they're in. So we can always work. Pros are a little bit different because I'm not disrupting the flow of the people, because we're all friends. I've coached Josh Still since he was 13, Aquasi since he was 16. They're now in their 28s. Cole Whittle since he was 20, Joe Hart since he was 20. I've known these guys for 10 years. I'm not disrupting. And I always ask for those opinions on who could come in. But the academy, it's about working with the person. It's always about the person. So that's what we're always looking for.
Very cool. That's cool. Good story.
It is fun. It is fun.
All right.
It is funny.
Okay. Next one is, how did you get to this point in your coaching career, and what type of characteristics the players that went the furthest at? Okay. So there's two questions about your coaching career in particular. Let's do those now. So how did you get to this point? And the other question is, where did you start your coaching career, and how was the journey? So just talk a little bit about where you started, how you got here, that kind of stuff in a couple of minutes.
My journey is, I sit down on the edge of my bed sometimes after a long day and go, I'm so lucky, man. How am I in this position? I'll do that every week potentially. Even today when I had Danny Evans in, it's like I'm sitting there working out one of the best players in the country, and he's my friend. It's so much fun. But anyway, I've been at Barking 19 years. I started as a player here, and I did some community coaching for Mark Clark, who started the academy in the community. Basically, I went to Kent Crusaders, and played semi-professional there. Tore my ACL my first year out playing semi-pro. Luckily enough, there was an apprenticeship scheme. That was, they started and they're like, oh, Rikki does a bit of coaching. Let's see if Rikki wants to do it. Still rehab his knee. So I just threw myself at it and I absolutely loved it. I volunteered for 10 years. I worked in a primary school. I worked in a charity working with 11-year-olds to 16-year-olds. I then obviously assisted on the academy, done every single job. I've worked with the world's best. One of my main mentors, obviously, is a guy called Luis Gil, who's the assistant coach to the Spanish senior national team. He is basically my father. He looked after me. He was learning it, got fired from the ACB, wanted to learn English, so he made a deal with me. Rikki, if you take me home every day, I'll cook you dinner and I'll teach you my philosophy, but it has to be in English. Just luck. I was the first ever performance analysis because Mark Clark was the CEO at the time and wanted to expand the role. So I was the trial and error, came second at European Championships. I was the first under-14 girls national team head coach. I've been full-time now at Barking for 6 years. I've done individual and team stuff. I also work with babies that can, as soon as they can walk. So I mentor Lewis Anna, Let's Get Active, with as soon as they can walk all the way up to 11 with his sessions. But I think the biggest thing about my journey is that I work hard, very hard. And that's something that I've got to get better at saying about myself because I work incredibly hard at what I do. But that's only got me so far. It's the connections and the relationships that the reason that I'm here now is because of the people that I met, and because of my character, people wanted to give me opportunities. So my whole journey has just been a little bit lucky, but I've put myself in positions to be able to be successful. I've learned from a number of people. I've got about 20 different philosophies in my head from other people, and I've just taken all the best bits, what I like. What I don't like, I just throw away. And now I've just created my own thing. But the time I've put in, and it's the conversation I have with a lot of young coaches, they're like, well, I want to be like you. I was like, okay, that's good. That's good. I was like, but how many hours a week coaching? Oh, about 6. Okay, well, there was a point in my life just after COVID, I was doing 45 hours on court in 7 days. And every single time I stepped into that session, I was getting better. It's a bit like you guys wanting to play, right? The way you get better playing is by playing, right? Putting in the work. It's the same as everything. Coaching, if I put in the hours, because I wanted to get better. I wanted to be the best. So I've just put myself in loads of different positions, and it's just happened enough that it's all worked out for me.
Yeah, there's a few things I want to say about this because I think you glossed over them a little bit, and I just want to make sure that people are listening because this is good stuff. First thing you said was, in a nutshell, you just said that you were really grateful for where you are right now. And I've known Rikki for quite a long time, and he's not putting on a show at the moment. This is how he is. Like whether it's on the court, in the 45th hour of the week, Rikki is, as I said at the beginning, he carries an energy which I think is what we can say it's the new energy, man. You're grateful to be there. And I speak a lot to these guys at Northfleet about doing the work, and for me, okay, yeah, you need to work hard. That is, I'm not saying you shouldn't do that, but you shouldn't work hard if it's not what you want to do. Like there needs to be an energy to it which can carry you forwards. And as you said there, in the middle somewhere, it's like you in those 45 hours, that stuff was helping you. So as much as you were giving to it, you felt like it was worth it. So the first thing I just want to pick out there was the gratitude that you have now, and I know that you've had for a long, long time, and it comes from within you. And it's really important because whether you guys are going to be basketball players or coaches or something else, how you do that from within you is more important than what you do. The second thing I want to say is Rikki said that he volunteered for 10 years. And unfortunately, we are in a different, like even Rikki is a bit old now. I'm old. We're kind of getting to a different generation. And each generation, you guys at Northfleet, you're a different generation. You've got different problems that you're facing, different challenges in your life. But what we are seeing, and Rikki, you can tell me if I'm wrong from where you're standing, but what I'm seeing is people aren't really ready to do much volunteer work and really get in the weeds without getting some sort of reward for it very quickly. It's kind of like, what's in it for me right now? And so if you're going to do, like, as a basketball coach and somebody who's managed to do a few things myself in the basketball world, what Rikki's done this year is that is the fruit of the 45-hour weeks 10 years ago, right? That's all coming out now. And how old are you now, Rikki?
36 now. I'm an 80s baby.
He's an adult, right? So you're talking about years and years and years and years and years of work. And now what we're doing right now today is congratulating you on basically 18, 20 years of work in that we just saw in the last few weeks. Was like, this is the product of it. So again,
yes,
I just want to
appreciate that.
Yeah, guys are hoping that a scholarship or a coaching career is coming to you in the next couple of years. Like it just isn't. It just doesn't work that way. And I think the two major ingredients are dedication and gratitude and positive energy with the work that you're doing. And then it doesn't matter what you're actually going to do. Not everybody is going to be a Division I college basketball player or a professional basketball player or a professional basketball coach, but there are many different ways to be a person in the world. And as long as you do it with the kind of energy that you have, whatever it is that you do end up doing is going to be amazing. So
and that's the biggest thing for us. It's putting people in positions to succeed, not just in basketball. So the question that me and my circle at the moment are talking about is only 0.3% of players make money playing basketball. So why are we really doing this?
There you go.
And it's the person. So Malik, for instance, great human being. He's bought in culture, but he's just thrived with his confidence. He's bought into everything. He's just now started his own jet wash business, and he's coaching. What the hell is that? That's weird. And he's coaching with Lewis. He started off as a volunteer with Lewis, and now he's getting paid because the work that he's put in. And he started his own business. He's got his own Amazon account. Like he's going to be successful regardless. And every single person that comes through are going to be successful regardless of what they do. And that's what we do it. It's them as people.
Okay. Cool, man. All right. Okay. Before I go to the next question, the third thing that I wanted to pick on there is, you said it a few times there, is that you got lucky. And I'm here to tell you that none of that is luck, really.
Yeah.
You put yourself in the right position, you do the work, you don't expect to get things back. You do it because you love it and you know that you're getting something out of it. And luck comes to those people, and we call it luck. It's again, the similar kind of message to the guys that are listening. The kind of energy that you carry and the effort and the work that you do will make you lucky or not. So
100%.
Cool, man.
100%. The phrase we use all the time is that I'm happy but not satisfied. You think this year winning the EABL, I wasn't walking into the office straight after a game or the day after a game and going, James, feedback, please. What do you think about this? What about the set that I drew? What about this? What about how I just... And like we're sitting there and we're discussing everything because he's really good at what he does. It's never ending. Happy but not satisfied.
Yeah, I heard somebody yesterday talking about this kind of thing. Like sometimes, like ultimately, whether you're a coach, a player, or anything else, there are going to be times when you're up and there's going to be times when you're down. And when you're up, you're never really as good as you look. And when you're down, you're never really as bad as you look. Those times are coming for everybody. And as long as you continue to adopt a process, like we just said there, no matter if we win, we're still asking questions about what we did and how we can do it better. Whether you're doing that at the top or whether you're at the bottom, that process will move you from low to high. But then don't understand that the low, you might experience a losing season in the next couple of seasons. And that isn't because you're a bad coach. It's just because we're playing a game where there's a winner and a loser, and sometimes you're going to lose. So, just make sure that if you do get to the top, like right now in the EABL and Division II and in English basketball, you're at the top, you're still looking at yourself going, okay, James, how can we improve this? How can we adjust our culture so that we continue to refine the process?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we want to win and it's a part of culture, but I could have lost the EABL final this year, but I've done my job. 5
Mm,
guys got scholarships, done my job.
mm.
That's winning for me.
Okay, let's do a couple of more questions here. How do you build mental resilience and professionalism in players aiming to compete at a high level?
Obviously, the first year with us, it's quite tough. You get shouted at quite a bit because we have high standards with the not even, it's more effort. So the beauty of this place is that if you don't work hard, you'll get left behind
Mm,
because you've got Adam in there shooting 500 shots today. And if you're not coming in to shoot 500 shots today, then Adam's getting better than you, and then he'll play more than you. So it's about, again, that whole process of the culture that we've got. It's first years looking at the second years on how they act. Well, what they're doing is professional. Like the biggest compliment I had this year with people coming to watch my workouts or watching it on the live stream, it's a professional practice. Everything about it is professional. The way I am, obviously, in terms of like my structure, my planning, my time, the points of what we got. And then if I want them to be professional, I have to be professional. Like, don't get me wrong, I do like to have a little laugh and joke because it builds, and you'll see me dancing a lot in my workouts because I just can't help it, or singing. But like the whole professionalism is just having that whole intent. But then the beauty of it is that, you've got not only that you're competing against the best players in the country who are also getting better at the time, you've got an opportunity to work out with all my pros. You're working out with a Kwasi Yeboah who plays Eurocup. Carl Wheatle plays Eurocup, only 6 figures playing basketball. So Obi at this moment in time sometimes doesn't look after his body as much. He's got much better at it. But when he starts working out with a Kwasi and Devin Van Noostrom and Carl Wheatle, you'll see that they come in early to work on their body. They then do their workout. They finish their workout, then work on their body again in some form of fitness or rep shooting. And then they spend 10 minutes working on their body again. So you're actually seeing a professional do exactly what his job is. So I've got loads of external things. It's not just coming from me, it's coming from everyone. James was coached professionally. Lauren's coached professionally. Lauren's gone to college in the States. James is incredibly good at what he does. You've then got players that have been on the journey already. And then you've also got players that are doing the exact same thing that you want. Kwasi played at Rutgers, for crying out loud. You're not going to do everything that you want him to do, that he's doing. Why would you not? He's making close to like ridiculous amounts. Like he's going to be a millionaire in a couple of years from what he's doing. So again, the environment in terms of building those professional players is all learned behavior for us. We're learning from each other. So again, like you boys are really lucky at the fact that Coach Rob is professional, and Coach Perry's still there?
Perry's still there, yeah.
Yeah. So like you've got all these people that already know what they're doing. And I don't say that lightly. You can ask me on opinions on people. What you've got is two very good human beings that are also very knowledgeable in the basketball world. So if they're telling you that's unprofessional, why would you not do it? They know more than you, unfortunately. But I say it to a lot of my first years. I know more than you at this moment in time. Yeah, but Amali does this. Yeah, but Amali's been with me for 3 years. He could do what he wants because I trust him, because I trust myself, because I've taught him. But you're still learning, so you can't call timeouts for me. Amali can call a timeout for me if he thinks we need to call a timeout. Go do you. It's just that whole process. It's all learned behavior. Like you got to work for it. So if you want to be professional and somebody's telling you not being professional, then that's all on you. Because when a team wants to hire you and you do the exact same things that your coaches are telling you not to do, and you go off and do it, you're fired. Bye-bye. See you later.
Yeah.
So that's how I would approach the professionalism part of it. Intent. It's all intent.
Okay. That's really good, man. Next question. How do you balance developing players versus winning games, especially under pressure?
So obviously my first 6 years here was quite easy because winning is a part of culture, but winning wasn't, I lost every single year in Division 3 and 4. I got relegated also.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
So like for me, it's, it was quite easy to just really focus on development. Easy. Where I took on the Division 2 group in the EABL and took over the coaching for the program off of James was because I've never developed players within a team, and also we also have to win. So this year was a real challenge for me because I've got 4 senior guys that are also part of the team. But again, those 4 senior guys were really important to how we are, because there was a game where Marley was absolutely cooking, but he looked tired. I was about to sub in, and my point guard, older point guard, Titus, I was like, Titus, go in. He was like, I'm not subbing in. Give him 2 more minutes. Give him 2 more minutes. And I gave him 2 more minutes, and he absolutely smashed it. I had other guys, Illy, who went from playing 30 minutes a game to playing 20 minutes a game, and he's going, you got to play the academy kids more because they've developed. They deserve to play. So that's part of it. But like, we are so clear on what our roles are and what everyone was good at this year, that if you didn't do those things to help us win, then you don't play. And that's the whole of development part of it. So one of the players, his role is to be this defender, best defender on the floor. And in 3 games, he wasn't a very good defender. But a part of his development at that level is that I sub him and he doesn't play again. If he played Division 4, yeah, he would go back in, keep going back in until he does it. But like, we've got this opportunity to win this year, and you're not doing your job, so you don't play. So there's the balance. Division 4 is just development. You don't do something that you're not meant to do, I'll get you out and I'll probably get you back in. And it's just that kind of yo-yo. But now it's about winning as well. So I've got to develop you, but I've also got to win. So the way I do that is by taking your minutes away. That's the balance. That's how I've done it.
Yeah, the reason for doing this today is mostly for the kids, but what I'm hearing, and I think like we've got Kieran and Harry over there as well coaching, and maybe Harry is there as well, is the clarity that you guys have on things like minutes, roles, expectations, and then also the clarity on where you're going to hold people accountable and where you might give some leeway because of the opportunity to develop versus winning. You're very clear on all of that, and that helps to follow through. And then the culture of that clarity over time starts to drive itself. So you're not guessing, players aren't guessing, how many minutes am I going to play today? Is coach happy with what I did last week? Or, can I go from 20 to 30 this week, or 0 to 15 this week? Like, there isn't a lot of guesswork going on here because everything is much clearer. And if there are any changes, it's also clear this is why we're going to change this now, whether it's up or down, so that players are always kind of informed, and there's not a lot of guesswork going on.
Yeah, it's even like our team stuff. So I got a bit of feedback, or I got asked a question from a coach about, oh, you push the ball a lot with the ball rather than a hit ahead. I was like, yep, that's right. He was like, why? Surely you want to hit ahead. I was like, yeah, but my data analysis had built up this data report that every time we hit the ball ahead, we turned the ball over 60% of the time. But yet when I had Curvy, Obi, and Marley push the ball in transition, we created a gold medal shot 80% of the time. The only people that didn't, even Lewis pushed the ball in transition by the ball. Adam and Ethan were different. They had to hit ahead, but they had to more so go to the 2 side. But they had to go to the 2 sides because of what we've figured out in terms of the style of play and whatnot. It's about putting people in clear positions to be successful. We had multiple times this year where we had 7 or 8 top guys in double digits. EABL final, we had 5 guys in double digits, 2 guys close to it. Because we just put everyone in the successful positions, and we do it so clearly. Well, you're good at this, so you do it. If you don't do what you're good at and want to do all this other stuff, then you don't play. But if you do what you're good at, and then you want to experiment a little bit within it to develop, then you can go off and do it because you've earned that right to do it. So it is so clear what we have here. And plus, everyone loved each other. When I say love each other, everyone loves each other. These guys go to dinner once a week, or they go swimming. They went camping the other week, and they do it all together. America, everyone sat down and had breakfast, lunch, and dinner, no phones. They did all of that. We just loved each other. It was easy.
I heard that from James yesterday as well. I think that's something that the guys on the call need to take with you a little bit, is that there needs to be a level of responsibility here in the team, taking care of itself, and not
Well,
just
if you look,
relying on the coaches to
well,
dictate all of that stuff.
look at the year we won Division 1 with 8 academy kids and plus 1 senior. That was it. It was an academy lineup, and we won Division 1. 7 of those guys, or 6 of those guys, went and got Division 1 scholarships. How many Division 1 scholarships have I got this year? 1. I've got 1 division. It's not the most talented group of individuals, but it is one of the top 3 teams, top 5 teams to ever come through Barking, because everyone was successful in exactly what we told them that they're going to be successful in. And then they trusted that process. Like, it wasn't by accident of why we won. And that come down to the fact that everyone loved each other, and the only goal at the end of it was to say that we won. But again, 5 years' time, no one's ever going to remember the EABL championships. The only people that are going to remember that championship is the people that were in that room. So we have to create long-lasting memories, and that was the biggest thing for me.
Okay, let's go to the final.
Sorry if I'm just talking, by the way. I'm
No,
a bit
man,
of a talker.
no, that's brilliant, mate. It's all good stuff. It's not, you're not waffling, don't worry. So
I always feel like I do waffle sometimes.
like before the final, there is a question about it, but I just want to be clear about what I want you to talk about. So you could talk about yourself first. You know, what were you going through in preparation for the final? What's your approach to mentally getting ready for it? And then what are you expecting or asking from the players? How did you help them to mentally get ready for a big game?
Well, first of all, when it got to the quarterfinals, or last 2 games of Division 2, but the quarterfinals, semi-finals, finals, I did the scout report. My assistants did them previously, and he's still in that learning phase. So they were good, but they're not to the level that I can build. So I watched 10 games of Myasco. I knew everything that what they could do. I knew the rhythm of the game. I knew how they were going to play. So I basically built this whole imagery with Richard, my mindfulness coach, to then go off, and when they did sessions, is to build that kind of mental picture. And we was going to get hit in the face. These are the times we were going to get hit in the face. So I prepared them. And if you watch the highlights, we scored in ways that we prepared them. So we prepared them for how they played zone, what's the rotations of zone, who does what when, how they do it, what offenses they're going to go to, why do they get to it. Like, we had all these little tiny things that built this massive picture for them. So we then made that envision. Next thing, the way we prepared them. So music regulates emotion. I listen to music throughout my whole entire individual, more R&B, a little bit low, like soft, because they're all learning. I don't want it stressful. But if you watch my team practice, it's all drum and bass. I played drum and bass all team practice. Like, music is on the whole day, even during team practice. Drum and bass, because it stresses them out. It regulates their emotions. So I was stressing them out in practice. So then when we got to the final with 500 to 1,000 people in it, with horns, drums, with a team that's local, they've learned how to take that out of it. So now they're not getting emotional in those moments. The next thing is, we have to play the same way that we played in every single game. And it's the phrase, play the game, not the occasion, which we've used for many years. Because the baskets are the same size, the floor is the same size, the 3-point line is the same size. It's just another game. So we treated it like any other game. But we were so prepared, and we prepared in loads of different ways, not just through me, but through my external people around here. So that means when we got to the final and they punched us in the face, we were prepared for it. We knew. So we prepared them so much. Not to the point where I over-prepared them, but I prepared them.
You felt like you got it right.
Got it right. But to be honest with you, it's, again, you know, like, it's quite easy when you can play a certain way because you've got 7-foot Lewis that can block everything. So, like, we held teams to 52 points a game in the EABL, 64 points in Division 2, because just the way, like, the ideas that I've had this year, and they've just executed all of it. We were so good defensively. Like, we got into games this year where we would shoot 20 shots less, We want to win 4 categories, so we're trying to aim to get those 4 categories. Efficiency, field goal percentage is the biggest one. If you win that, you can win about 60% of your games. So yeah, so like the way we addressed the final, it was just any other game. We've been doing it all year round, so why would we change anything? There wasn't too much on it. Did that answer your question on that?
For sure.
Yeah.
Let's do a couple more and then we'll finish up. So guys,
I've got loads of time. I've got loads of time, so it's up to you guys really. Unless you don't want to listen to me anymore, boys. I see someone yawning. Is he yawning, or is that coach?
That's just those guys. What, Rikki? What are you struggling with, mate? What do you need to get better at?
My whole thing is X's and O's. Drawing. Obviously, James has guided me a lot. I've built a library of things that I can get to. Now I've got a game sheet, which I've got better at. Obviously, imposter syndrome was the biggest thing for me because James was like, you're good at this, right? I said, yeah, but James, I'm not like you. Like, you're so good at this, James. I can't, like, how do you do it? So that was my biggest focus this year. And I made some mistakes, some rotations and whatnot, and how I drew. But I think I got that good, like really well this year. And that's something that I'm still going to strive for. The other thing is that my energy is contagious. So even though I was incredibly good this year compared to other years, I've stopped shouting. I'm sitting there like relaxed and chilled, probably a bit too chilled in that environment. But then sometimes in intense moments, I get tense. So then the players get tense. So that's my biggest focus this next season, especially when probably things are going to go a lot. Things are going to probably go not the way I want them to go because it's a whole different group and I've got to teach a lot and I've got to do some different things. So like I have to really home in on the performance part of it. But again, I meditate, I work with Richard, I work with sports psych. So they're my 2 biggest things of me trying to get better is those things. And the other thing that I'm not very good at is the whole self-care. I've got so much better at it this year, especially. This summer, even since the season's finished, I've gone out more socially. But during the season, I wasn't very social, which is something next season I need to get better at because it's all about how we treat ourselves. So yeah, they're the main emphasis of me getting better this year. And next year is going to be a big challenge because again, I've got to play a different way. I've got to play faster, even though we played very fast this year. So I've got to be really patient this year. But I've got better at it. There are things that I have got better at. Like I was in the top 70% out of the whole of Synergy and after timeouts this year, which I take very personally because I worked incredibly hard to get to that kind of level. But again, I had good players. We worked on those things. We did it in practices and stuff. So it's just those continuous things. And my challenge is, can I win again with a group of players that are not as big as Lewis, basically? So yeah, they're the things that I need to get better at.
Okay. Okay. So what now? Let's turn to the kids that are on this call. Yeah, you're working in the EABL Championship Academy. Barking Abbey historically was most of the best players in the country, at least a pool of them. There's a lot of kids in similar situations to Northfleet and even in EABL level. A lot of the kids that are on those teams aren't going to reach the kind of level that you've got kids going this year. Let's take let's just take a general view of kids that are a slightly lower level than the upper echelon of the EABL. What are the big things that those kind of kids need to understand from your experiences that can help them in their journey towards what they're trying to achieve?
I think the first thing is you could do everything right and still not do the things that you want to do. You can do everything right, but you still might not achieve the goal that you want as a Division 1 scholarship. That's the first thing. So it's about you as a person more than anything else. Why are you working as hard as you possibly can and get better? Because you might improve dramatically. It still might not be enough. But that's completely okay because what the skills that you've now built within the basketball world, you can take into every single job. The way you communicate with people, how hard you work in, how can you take instructions? Can you go through resilience? Can you go through adversity? Can you go through all those things? So You're not doing it because, oh, I might not end up where I want to be, but you never know. You might have a growth spurt, or you might end up just shooting 60% from free. You might do things that you're like, I didn't know I was capable of doing that. So you just never know. Like, yeah, yeah, it is very hard to do the college route now, especially with everything. But that doesn't mean that you can't do it. You might get lucky. You might put yourself in positions and be like, well, I like him. You never know who's watching. Look at Adam. You never know who's watching. Went off against IMG and they offered him a scholarship there and then. But if he wasn't in that environment, he wouldn't have got that scholarship. He would be coming back for a third year. So it's about putting yourself in all these positions to succeed, even though you might end up not achieving what you want to do. But the success that you can have and the feeling of knowing that you've done everything in your power to put yourself in a position to get looked at, because you never know who's watching. You never know who might watch one of your highlights or one of your games and go, I really like him. I want him over. And you're thinking to yourself, I don't know. How's that happened? You just never know. So that's why I would always say is that, like you said, Rob, you create your own luck, right? By doing the things that you can to the best of your ability. Because at the end of the day, it's not just success in basketball that you want. You want success in life, right? So that's my point of view on, you might not be in the same environment that you're here, but you're still in an environment to get better. So get better. You never know where it might end up.
Yeah, it's a difficult thing for young people to
100%.
hear, but it's something like doing the work with an eye on what you're trying to achieve, but not holding on to a result coming to you straight away. Not having an expectancy of an outcome here and now. We get that a lot. Like, guys putting in a lot of work over some period of time, might be a month or 6 weeks or even 6 months, and then go, right, where are my minutes now? Where's my reward for what I did? And not unfortunately, this is kind of how this
the world
goes.
We live in. It's reality.
This is our reality, is that you don't know when that result is coming, but as long as you continue to move in some kind of positive direction, it comes back to what you were talking about earlier about who you are and how you've been over the years. You carry a positive energy, you work extremely hard, you do it with passion, you do it with love, something good is coming, you just don't know when.
Yeah.
And
so I'm going to tell you,
carry on.
There's one story. So when the academy, you had Josh Still, plays at Surrey 89ers now, and you have a Kwasi Yubaba. Kwasi Yubaba is playing for second best team in Italy currently that play Euro Cup, earning 6 figures. Josh is in Surrey, but yet when they were both in school, Josh was playing at the Hoop Summit and the Jordan Brand Classic as one of the top 10 players in the whole of Europe at 16 years old. He started Division 1 men at 14 years old. He was dubbed to be the prodigy, the next best thing. And even though Josh is really fucking good, he's incredibly good at what he is, he's still only playing in Surrey. And there's nothing bad in that. But obviously, when you look at it compared to like a Kwasi, Kwasi, when he was at school, got told he will never get a scholarship. Ever. He had one scholarship after his 2 years, and that was at Stony Brook. Went to Stony Brook and redshirted because he got told he wasn't good enough. Had 3 good years, transferred to Rutgers, averaged nearly a double-double. Then he came out of college and played Pro B France, which is second division, got told he wasn't good enough to play at the highest level. By his second year in Pro B, he was absolutely smashing it and signed in the Champions League for Galatasaray. Oh, no, for Steris Afuka. While he was Steris Afuka playing Champions League, he got cut for 3 months. They paid him to be a practice player. And he was like, yeah, is what it is. I've dealt with this my whole life. And then by the end of it, he worked his way back so much in practice that he played 27 against FS, who were the 2-time EuroLeague champions, signed for Galatasaray in the Champions League again. He just proved everyone wrong. But again, it's a little bit of right place, right time, the right people have seen him, where Josh has just been a little bit the opposite. The right people haven't seen him at the right time. So like everyone's journey is different. You might be a 35-year-old that might make the NBA. You never know. You have no idea. But they both followed the same thing. They worked damn hard. They did everything in their power to get better. They're still doing those exact same things. They're playing basketball professionally and making a good living, both of them. They're both playing at a very good level. Just one happens to be in Italy, one happens to be in the UK. But you just don't know when it's going to happen. Akwazi didn't know it was going to happen. You just don't know. You have no idea.
I think that's a good place to finish. I don't know how the attention span is of these guys. So,
Yeah, my bad, boys.
That's all right. Is there anything else on that side, Kieran? Otherwise, we're going to wrap it up. That was really good. Hour and a bit, I think. Amazing stuff.
I'll check now. Fellas? Anything else? No, pretty good, pretty good. Thanks, Rikki. Appreciate it.
No, anytime, man.
Rikki, last question. Can these guys work with you? Is it possible, or how's it work?
Time, I can't. It's awful. It's
Get on the library. Get the library.
Yeah,
Get on the
it's
live
going to be one of
streams.
them things where it's going to be, obviously I've got a website that I'm creating. Don't subscribe to it yet because it's not finished. Everything's going to be on there eventually. But my issue is that it's not an issue. It's an issue for everyone else. But for me, I have a full-time job, and the players that I work with all day, every day. So I actually don't have time available to work out players. I can have coaches. I can talk to coaches. I can do coaching development. Player development is normally just, it's pretty damn hard. Pretty hard to find time. So I can only apologize. But if you do want to work with someone who's very much like me, is Let's Get Active, Lewis Allen. He runs sessions. A lot of my guys that are probably not good enough to play with my pros, they'll go and work out with him. He has all my development plans for each kid. So they develop the same way. It's just he has a lot more flexibility with his time to be able to run sessions throughout the summer. So get on Let's Get Active. He's an incredible human being. He does charge, but not a lot of money. But yeah, if you want someone to work out with this summer, obviously you've got the 3 coaches that you're with. If you want someone external, Lewis is great because I guarantee you he'll reach out to your coaches and go, what do they need to work on?
Cool.
So yeah,
Amazing.
he's the one.
Rikki, thank you, mate. That was really, really good, man. And congratulations on everything.
Thank
you. I look
Credit to
forward
the boys
seeing
more
you
than
somewhere.
anything. Boys have been
All
great.
right, man.
So, right. Nice meeting you guys.
Cheers, Rikki. See you, mate.
Catch you later.
Bye-bye. All right, fellas, you can go to practice now. If there's still any time left. See you
Thanks,
tomorrow.
Rob.
See you tomorrow.
Thanks,